Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Apex F1 podcast. The three of us are not together anymore. We are all in our separate homes. Disappointing. We are coming to you on the backs of the American Grand Prix, COTA, Austin, whatever the hell the name of it is these days. We had a great time. Some of us came back a little wounded, but not defeated. We'll get into that in another episode. Let me go ahead and introduce everybody. Meredith, how are you today?
I am fantastic. Coming off the coattails of COTA and going back to reality of having an actual job and not just getting paid to podcast and put out content. That's such a bummer, but just it's living the real world. Work slapped me in the face real hard this week, and ready for a weekend full of good racing to cheer me right back up.
Listen, I think if anybody is happy that we are back in our respective homes and working, it is our livers, because they were drenched and quenched with ranch water. But
I will also say our credit cards are probably very happy we're home.
Yo, listen, I saw my credit card statement and I about floored how much money I spent. But
You just have
yeah,
to look away. Look away.
yes, exactly. Josh, how are you today?
I am good. I had a very long night at work, but we are just grinding through it. So it's it's one thing after the next, man. There's no rest for the wicked.
Just caffeine and nicotine, just pushing through this.
That's right. That's right.
And I see are you wearing, look at you wearing that new hoodie of yours.
Yep.
Oh, isn't that
I washed
stunning?
mine as soon as we got home Sunday, and I've worn it all week.
It's a comfortable hoodie.
It is a good
So
one.
comfy.
Yeah, absolutely. It is super comfortable. But let's kind of get into it. What did you guys? I know it's a late episode. Sorry, guys. I came down with a cold and I lost my voice.
Down with the sickness.
I literally got down with the sickness. So that's why we're coming to you guys on a Friday instead of Monday or Tuesday like we normally tend to do. So that is cold-heartedly on me. I apologize. But what did you guys think of the race at COTA? And don't worry, guys. We're going to have another episode next week where we talk about our experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly about going, especially Josh and I. This was our first time going, so we have a lot of opinions, but don't worry, we'll get into all that next week. But let's just kind of talk about the race a little bit. What did you guys think of it? Josh, we'll start with you.
Well, I think we got our money's worth as far as the sprint race. I mean, right out of the gates, just all the drama that we had been talking about happening between the McLarens, right there on full display. It was great to see them come together. It was unfortunate that it ended both of their races, but that did give us the opportunity to see some other points winners that we wouldn't have got to see. Another Carlos Sainz podium, great for the Williams brand. So we love that for old Chile. So for the race itself, it was, a lot of people have complained that it was not necessarily as exciting as COTA races in years past. I was really excited going into the weekend because of the tire compounds. They had skipped a compound to try to encourage a two-stop race, but really all it did was encourage everybody to run soft tires for 40 laps. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but we did get to see, I think, one of the best wheel-to-wheel battles of the season between Lando and Charles. What a great battle. We got to see it twice because due to the pit stop strategies, they had to pass each other again, or Lando had to make the overtake again because they were on alternate strategies. So we got to see the same battle twice, and it was clean, it was respectful, it was great, it was perfect. That's the kind of battles that we want to see more often in Formula One, and unfortunately we don't get to see it as often as we wanted to, but that right there was worth the price of admission to me, to be able to watch that battle live right in front of us in that overtaking zone that they kept trying to make the move. So that was my highlight. Max is just dominant. I mean, that Red Bull car just looks planted right now. It's just whatever they've got going on over there between some of these upgrades they've made to the floor and some wing upgrades I've seen, between that and Max just getting to tracks that he's a little bit more comfortable driving at. I mean, this week alone, we'll get into it, but Mexico is just an absolute Max domination fest. So COTA was a lot of fun. Obviously, we'll give our in-person reactions and everything else, good, bad, ugly, like Paul said. And we are very opinionated people, so we'll give plenty of those as well. On the next episode, we'll have a much more in-depth COTA recap. But as far as the race itself, I think it does give us a little glimpse between the tension at McLaren, but it also gives us a lot of anticipation for this Red Bull resurgence and the potential for Max to get into this championship battle that we had not really been expecting. So, what do y'all think?
Meredith, what thoughts on the United States Grand Prix?
You mean the MSC Grand Cruises or what?
It's
Yeah,
always got some
I
long ass name.
I was with Josh. I actually feel like Saturday brought a lot more to us than Sunday did. I thought we got to see a super exciting start to the sprint race, a lot of good fun action. I thought qualifying was really strong and a lot of excitement. Obviously, I thought Sunday was a really great race. I think for me, my key takeaway from the weekend after like coming home and having like rewatched some of it was that it was nice to see Ferrari deliver. That was my biggest thing. I think, we've been super harsh and super critical on Ferrari all season. The performance has not been there to see Charles get on a podium, to see Lewis in fourth in both races. Like something is clicking. It makes me really excited. I am forever delusional with Ferrari. So I think I expected McLaren to have a good weekend. Like obviously with the incident in the sprint race, like that wasn't ideal. Thought Lando drove incredible on Sunday. Agreed, Josh, that wheel-to-wheel racing was great. But I think I expected McLaren to do well. I'm always hopeful for Ferrari, and somehow Charles always really delivers at COTA, which I love it. I like to think he does it for me. It's again, I'm delusional, but I thought it was really great racing. And I thought while I was there, I was thinking like, actually, what a great weekend for you guys to be there, because had there not been a lot of on track action, had there not been a lot of drama, I think the weekend could have been a little lackluster in your takeaway for your first F1 race. So overall, I thought it was a really great race, and I was glad we got to see some of it right in front of us coming down that straight was pretty cool. So yeah. What about you, Paul? What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
it was definitely a fun race. Even the sprint was fun race. Isaac crashed right in front of us, and I think I didn't see it. I was looking down at my phone, and all of a sudden I just hear the thump, and I'm like, oh man. Isaac crashing was tough. Was tough to see, but it was a lot of fun. And Max is, sorry, I was petting my dog over here. Max is just on another level. You cannot argue with it anymore that he's one of the greatest drivers of all time. And the gap we saw racing was incredible. It was him, and then we'd wait. It seemingly felt like forever for the other two cars. That dude is on another level. But great battle between Lando and Charles. Very respectful. They really went for it. And overall, I had a great time. I can't say that enough how much fun I had. Even though I came back sick and beat up and poor, it was still a fun race.
I will say I'm super glad that we did. Like, it's always fun to actually see a race in person where the leader pulls so far away. That same takeaway that you had of seeing Max pass by and then seeing how far that second car is, like on TV, sometimes it's hard to put that into reality. I had that same moment in Miami when you saw how far ahead Oscar was. It was shocking. So it's kind of cool to finally get to see that at a race in person to really appreciate the dominance. And it is fun to see Max like this. I enjoy it. I love when he is in his element, in his zone. So I'm glad y'all got to see that in person to really truly witness what it's like. Because when you see it on the time board on there and you're like, oh wow, they're 12 seconds ahead. You're kind of like, yeah, that's far, but and then you see it in person, you're like, oh wow, I could literally almost go get another ranch water and be back.
And to me, the other shocking part was, I when you're watching it on TV, you don't appreciate how fast they're truly going until you're watching them in that straight, and you're trying to get a picture or a video, and all you just see is the boom. You're like, holy shit, these cars are actually going that fast. And I guess for me, and maybe I'm just naive or whatever, but I truly didn't appreciate how fast these cars are really going.
Yeah,
I don't know about Josh. Was that a big shocker to
no,
you?
I mean, I won't lie. I kind of expected the speed, right? Like, I'm a TikTok junkie. I sit there and watch Formula One cars drive by on screens all the time. So I expected at least like how fast it would be to like try to film one. But what I took away more than anything was, I think watching on TV for the entirety of, my Formula One, fandom, whatever, you lose out on the other senses. And I kept just coming back to that, like, yeah, yes, they're loud, but the sound, the way it reverberates around the place, and the way you can hear them from the distance away, right? And then like the smell of the car, the smell of the tires, the smell of the plank wear, you
Yes.
can smell.
My favorite.
You can, and so I think that's the part that I underestimated, right? Was like how many different senses you could actually use to enjoy watching a race, which was something that I had never considered. So that was really neat to me.
Yes, and the other thing you brought it up on that Friday, hearing the different engine manufacturers go by and the different, it's very nuanced and very small, but you could hear the different engine manufacturers, and it was just interesting to see. Oh, yep, that's a Red Bull, that's a Ferrari, and it was
Oh yeah.
that was something you brought up, Josh, and I really picked up on it on Sunday.
And something else I noticed on Friday is, watching practice and watching the sprint qualifying, was you can audibly hear when you're that close. You could hear like the ride height difference. Like you could tell what cars were running a lower setting than a team that may have been running a higher suspension setting. You could actually audibly hear the plank hitting the ground in the in the braking zones and through the downshifts. So it's so much, you can pick up a lot more detail just when you're 50 feet from a car versus when you're trying to watch on a broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Any last final thoughts on COTA and the race? Max once again is making this a very tight race. We go into this weekend with 40 points. And if we can read anything into the tea leaves, he is great in Mexico. He is great in Brazil. So 2 wins here. Woo, boy.
Oh yeah, this could get very tight very
Yeah, I
quick.
also just think that. Go ahead, Josh.
No,
Sorry.
that was it. I was just saying, like this, like people,
Oh.
have looked at this and thought, oh well, if Max can get within 40 points, well, here we are, we're in 40-point
Yeah, here we are.
territory, and there's a couple like these are Max's tracks here. We keep forgetting,
Yeah,
we
I
got
think I
Qatar and
was the
Abu
most
Dhabi.
shocked to see. I think I was most shocked to see the F1 news article that released yesterday afternoon that the Lando repercussions have been lifted from McLaren because of the battle now with Max being so close, with the sprint race happening, with Oscar not being on the podium. Like it really puts things in perspective for you. And it's like, I thought, seeing that article, I was like, wow, okay, this is happening. This is real. And McLaren understands the gravity of it too, that they're like, whoever is in the best position to score the points, that's who we're prioritizing right now. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what McLaren does in the team strategy in the next couple of races. Yeah, I think it's going to be spicy.
I don't want to say the pressure's on McLaren, but the pressure's all on McLaren right now to come
100%.
out with a good result.
Yep.
So we'll see what they
I mean,
can
I think
do.
they thought they had a drivers' championship in the
Oh
bag.
yeah,
I
100%.
think I thought they had a drivers, like, until 2 races ago, I thought it's Lando or Oscar in the bag, and that's who was battling it out. And now I'm like, we could be getting down to Abu Dhabi and it being the final race of the season to determine it. And it's been so many seasons since we've had that true battle that I'm ecstatic for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody thought they had this in the bag, and I don't want to say maybe they took the foot off the gas or maybe they got complacent, but it goes to show it's not over until it's over, and anybody can really pull it off this at any given weekend.
Well, we did have some predictions for COTA last weekend.
That we
So
did.
Josh predicted Max would win, Lando would get second, Oscar would get third, and that Yuki would place 6 or better. So he picked up 2 points for Max and Lando being 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Paul, you had Oscar, George, Lando, and then your shocker was 1 Williams, 1 Haas in the points. You picked up no points. It's okay. You had fun though. I had Oscar, Lando, and Max, so I picked up a point for Lando, and I had Haas in the points, and since Ollie was in the points, I picked up a point there. So that brings our points leaderboard to Josh running away with it, 17 points, me at 15, Paul at 13. So still all very close. Still
Yeah.
very close.
Man, I thought Yuki was going to do it for me. Oh, what do you get, 7th? Ah,
I
man.
believe so.
I-
He still had a great show.
No, that was by far.
Yeah.
I thought one of his. I mean, he had some help. He got lucky with some strategy calls and
Yeah,
whatever.
Yuki 7th.
But I was almost
Yuki
there,
7th.
man. I almost had him.
Which also I made me think about it. Paul, you brought it up about like the car sounding different, right? And like Josh and I were sitting there when we were sitting down on the hill. What was it, Friday afternoon when we were watching sprint quali? Nico Hulkenberg's car, when it went by, Josh and I were like, that sounds good.
It sounds really good.
We were like, that car sounded good. That just clicked for me seeing Nico in the points. I was like, man,
Well,
that car sounded good.
Skipping ahead a little bit, that we are filming this on Friday. We've just had free practice 1.
I
full
haven't seen
of
anything.
rookies. Well,
Have you seen it?
the only thing I'll tell you is Hulkenberg got third fastest. So I think they have done something with that car over the last
They've done
since the
something.
summer break. Well, I mean, so I will say like the best team improvement of the year award will absolutely go to Sauber, because that turnaround
That's
from last year to this year
awesome.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you can really see the money coming in from the, obviously the German investors now, as well as
Yes.
the direction with actual leadership is much different than what we had last year.
Yep, absolutely. But like Josh kind of alluded to it, let's switch gears over to this race in Mexico City this weekend. They just finished FP1. I don't know if you want me to ruin anything for you, Meredith, or
Yeah, go
not.
ahead, ruin it.
So
Run away.
they had
And just
9.
so we're clear, we do write down our predictions before we record, so
We
nothing's
did.
getting changed.
We did. This time we had 9 rookies taking over FP1 for
That's
a lot of
right.
drivers, so that was a lot of fun to see. Some names I recognized, other names I didn't. So a lot of the rookies did well. The big conversation was Paul Aaron took over Pierre Gasly's car and Franco Colapinto. So that kind of battle between what's going to happen there. Franco finished. Dude, I'm not even in the right spot. Franco finished 9th, Paul Aaron in 15th. So all in all, some of the rookies did well. Lindblad, probably butchering that.
Arvid, yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
finished.
the name that I was struggling so bad to say last week because I wanted to put the B at the beginning.
Yeah, I get it. So he took over for Max's car and he finished in 6th.
Hell yeah, Arvid.
The top 3 were Charles Leclerc, Kimi, and Nico Hulkenberg. Oscar in 4th.
I love that.
And our beloved Mexican racer Pato finished in 13th. So
Good job,
all in
Pato.
all, it was a fun FP1. Also, the Mexican crowd really shows up to this. The Mexican fans are really into this, and they might rival. I mean, I've never been to either one, so I can't speak personally, but they might rival what happens in Italy for some of those races with how crazy these fans get.
Mexico City is an absolute bucket list race for me.
Same here.
I love Mexico City so much. And just seeing that track, the track is amazing. Like, I would love to be in that stadium area, seeing them come through that little chicane right there. Like, I gotta go. Everybody who I've talked to has said it's such an amazing time, so much fun. Everybody is warns about the traffic and all that stuff. But I'm like, Mexico City is a massive city. They've got to have it figured out to where, at least you're on like a transportation bus to and from hotels or something. Like, I would never do the drive out there or anything. I would definitely do the arranged transportation on a bus with AC and a bathroom. But it's a bucket list for me. The track is incredible. Everyone loves the racing. The fans are dynamite. I would put it in my top 3 races I desire to go to.
Yes, I need to go to the Mexico race, and I have a lot of family there. Drive me around the city, so it kind of 2 birds with 1 stone for me. But it's one of the races I have to go to, as you know, along with like Silverstone in Japan and a lot of the other history-filled races except for Monaco. But I still would love to go to the Mexico race. But our little historian Josh, what do you have for us about the this track?
Yeah, so there's a couple little fun facts for this track that actually do dictate the outcomes here. So the biggest one that you'll notice is people will talk about the elevation difference. The elevation is 7,500 feet above sea level. So
That's that thin air.
a significant difference in the air. And if you start looking at like the cooling ducts around the engine cowling and the engine cover on a lot of these cars, there's damn near nothing left. Like, I saw a picture of Ferraris earlier. I was just shocked. You could damn near see the engine through.
It's almost wide open.
It's almost wide open because they need so much extra cooling ducts to keep everything cool since the air is much thinner. So that is going to be.
I believe
Good.
I believe they were saying today that you get 20% less air than you do when you're at sea level.
Right, and with these cars that are so, I mean, they're completely built around the aerodynamics. I mean, the ground effect air cars are completely dictated by the ground effect of the aerodynamics in the floor. That changes the way that these cars work significantly, and so that can lead to differences in how they perform and handle. And so we'll have to see who handles the track-specific upgrades and tweaks a little better than others. Another big one for this race in particular, which kind of back-to-back topics on this one with COTA having a great turn 1 as well. This is the longest run from the grid to the first turn in the Formula 1 calendar, which means that the cars almost get to top speed right out of the starting gates, right? So it's a much longer run, a lot more opportunity for slipstream coming into turn one, even in the first lap. Now, obviously, that gives a lot of opportunity for overtaking later on in the race because that is a major DRS zone as well. So easy to overtake through the main pit straight. But it gives a lot of opportunity to those in the midfield or even in the back markers to pick up some positions early with that long run down into the first turn. So those are going to be the big ones. Another great one that may or may not be an issue depending on weather. Track temperature is going to be significantly different between qualifying and race time. But that's more of a tire issue, so we'll just see who runs what tires where. But the track is not used very often. It's not there's not a lot of racing series that race here. It's Formula One, Formula E, so your little vacuum cleaner cars, Paul. NASCAR has started racing here, and
Yeah, NASCAR did a race this year there.
NASCAR.
NASCAR and Formula 4, which is just like the regional formula does race there as well. So the track can be pretty dusty because it's just not used as frequently, and it's not rubbered in as well as some of the other circuits that see heavy use throughout the year. That's really it for track stuff. The only other thing that I've got for you is Pirelli has once again decided to skip a tire compound, which I didn't really think worked in Austin, but maybe it'll work here. So we're gonna have the C2, the C3, and the C5. So we're skipping the C4 tire. So we'll see if it works again, or we'll see if it works this time. I would be a lot more hopeful if I saw a positive change from Austin, but I just didn't see it. So that's what I got for you.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of that, it's 71 laps. The circuit length is 4.3 kilometers long. What that is in conversion, I have no clue.
2.6.
Because I went to public school.
2.6 miles. I did look that one
Did
up.
you just do that math in your head, Josh, or
God,
did you
no.
know?
No, I looked that up.
He's a
I
freaking...
was like, okay, Goodwill Hunting here.
Fuck,
We got Matt Damon on the pod.
You should have just ran with it and said, "Yup."
Yeah, just little
I was like, we got
conversions.
Kid Genius Josh over here.
But
Okay, I have a confession.
confess away.
Y'all were talking about cooling ducks wide open. My brain went straight to the back of the Uber karaokeing with the arms wide open.
Oh my God. For those of you who don't know the backstory, we Friday after the race or qualifying, we went back to the Airbnb, showered, and decided to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the podcast and all of us being together in Austin by going to a nice dinner. We had an Uber pick us up. Little did we know it was a self-driving Tesla. The guy was driving the car, but the car was driving itself. And right when we get in, he looks back at the back seat and says, "Do you guys want to do karaoke?" Mind you,
Of course.
Josh and Meredith had already been deep in the sauce at this point. So
Deep in the sauce.
deep. So of course they say yes. This guy turns on 2 wireless microphones and all hell broke loose. There was every genre of music you can think about was played, was sung. I think Meredith lost her voice 10 seconds into this. If we get a chance, we'll post a video. And yeah, it was a wild night.
We'll see which one would be internet approvable.
Yeah.
I don't think we cussed at any of them or did anything inappropriate. So it was just
there was definitely some cussing in Nickelback "Burn It to the Ground," I believe.
That's true.
All right, fair enough. But yes, that's a little bit of context.
Cooling ducks wide open. It was I was like, World War II style flashbacks.
Yes. So let's kind of get into it, guys. What do we think is going to happen at this race? Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? What's our big shocker? What's that face for, young lady?
Okay, I vote on 3. We all say who we think is winning it. 1, 2, 3.
Max.
Do you see the hoodie? Do you see? I mean, it's just, I didn't need to say it. I'm wearing it.
Okay, so we're all Max.
Max.
Yeah, we're all Max.
Yeah. Okay, now we can talk about the rest.
Josh, who do you think will be second and third? And your shocker?
I've got Max winning. I'll say it again because I think it's that much. The dominance deserves me to say it again. Max, top step, podium, dominance, at least 15 seconds. Number 2, I'll have Lando. I think Lando's just he's gonna be up there again. But don't discount Charles Leclerc because I have him in third. I think Ferrari's gonna be at least a little bit racy. They seem to do well on the tires on the hotter track. They seem to have a little bit better deg than they had earlier in the season. So yeah, Charles being able to defend as long as he did on dead soft tires impressed me so much that I think that if they get the strategy calls right, I don't have a problem calling Charles third place here.
I like that. And when
Yeah.
I did pick up my phone right before we started to record, for some reason, it was literally on Charles Leclerc's driver profile.
Yeah.
That's why Paul was like, I don't think you saw it, but I held it up and I was like, I have no idea how this is happening. It was literally my whole screen was Charles Leclerc's driver's profile.
It's
Paul
meant
said
to
he thought
be.
it was an omen,
What
so I could see it.
What do you think a shocker's going to be?
I didn't really think about that one. I'm gonna take Franco Colapinto beats out his teammate in the race. I'm not gonna necessarily say for qualifying, but I think he'll finish better in the race.
Love that. Okay. Paul, who
All
you
right.
got?
Meredith, we'll go with you. I'll finish mine at the end.
I also have Max winning, agreed. This one's for my dad, owning that I am appreciating this era of Max dominance. It's fun to watch. My dad will love that. I also have Lando in second. I think he's been doing really good. I think he's got his head on straight right now, and that's fun to watch. I actually think George is going to come out at this track. I have George in third. I think he's been our little sneaky one to watch throughout the season, and I think he's pulled out podiums and dubs when I didn't expect it. And so I think George's going to have a good weekend. And my shocker was Sauber in points. So I think we've seen alternating weekends of Gabby doing good, Nico doing good, and I'd love to see it. Hearing the way that car sounded last weekend and seeing Nico finish up in the points, I was like, all right, let's see what can happen here. So yeah,
both Saubers or just one?
No, just one, just a Sauber. I don't think I've seen a weekend where they both consistently delivered. I think it's always been kind of one or the other. Someone had an edge up, someone got the upgrade first or the tweak, and they tested it out. And I think we've always seen kind of one nudge one out. But I mean, we've had a couple weekends where there was I think we had one race where it was a 9 and an 11, right? Like someone was just outside the points. So yeah, I think they'll do well, but I could see it being either. But with the way Nico's car was last weekend, maybe they make the same mods to Gabby's and we'll see how his does this weekend.
Yeah, Gabby had a rough weekend last weekend, so I would hopefully he just can get his
very out of character.
Very out of character. He hopefully can get his feet under him, but I feel like there's some momentum behind Hulk right now, so that's not a bad call at all.
All right. Finally, me. I'm kind of piggybacking off of Josh. I think Max wins, Lando comes in second, and Charles comes in third. Unfortunately, I don't think Oscar is going to do well this weekend. For my shocker, I'm going to go Isaac and Carlos in the top 10.
Okay, say it again.
Isaac and Carlos in top 10.
Okay.
And then Max, Lando, and Charles.
Okay. This is going to be fun.
So you're just copying me now because I'm just going to be right? Is that what's happening?
Listen, at this point, I'm just gonna ride your coattails.
Did you write it on your board? Show us your board, Paul.
He didn't.
My shocker prediction was stupid. So, but that stays.
What was your shocker prediction before you changed your mind? What was it?
It was Oscar P4 or less, but if I already had it was that's kind of dumb. So that's when I went to Carlos and Isaac.
That is dumb.
That was dumb. So that's why
that was a softball.
Yeah, we're not doing top 4 predictions.
Yeah, absolutely. See, it's on the board.
I like this shocker. I like that one. That's a fun one, Paul.
So with that, we kind of wrap it up. Any last finishing thoughts before I'm losing my mind over here and dropping everything on my desk? Any last final thoughts as we kind of get ready for FP2 here at 5:00 Central Standard Time, and yeah, we get ready for this race in Mexico City. Josh, what are your last final thoughts?
I'm just hoping for a good race. I want to see a little bit more competitiveness throughout the midfield, and I want to see. We're getting to the point of the year where like we've already had Alpine decide that they're not going to upgrade the car anymore, right? I think there's obviously going to be some more teams that start taking that same route, and so I'd be curious to see who's trying to stick it out through the rest of the year in the midfield. That's really where I think that's where the money grab is, right? That's where the big payout is for some of these smaller teams. So as fun as the battle up top is, there's a lot of money at stake down low too that we have to pay attention to because that could be very consequential for the next year. So that's where I'm. That's
There's
where I'm
a
watching.
lot of money at stake.
At stake.
Ha ha ha. And right now, 6th, 7th, and 8th is kind of pretty close. Racing Bulls in 6th with 72 points. Aston Martin in 7th with 69 points. So that can really flip. And Kick Sauber in 8th with 59 points. So 10-point difference between 7th and 8th. But a couple good showings can really change things around in the midfield. And much like Josh said, we're talking millions of dollars that can
Yeah.
really
Yep.
help a team. And everybody knows we've talked about it at nauseum. New year, new regulations, new cars. So that money, an extra couple million, can really make a big difference in next year's development of that car.
I'm excited. I'm hoping for good racing. I would love to see some really good midfield battles this weekend too. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think this track does allow us, especially like you said, with that long run to turn one. I do think it allows for us to see a little bit more action in the back of that pack with it being so tight up top, right? And then getting up to that turn one, I think it allows for a little more opportunities for chaos there. And then from there, I think we'll see kind of who are going to be the leaders and pulls away from it. But I'm just hoping for good racing. I'm going to miss shotgunning with you guys. I'll have a ranch water in your honor tonight.
Appreciate that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if by some chance the race director of this race is watching this, can we get a little midfield action? I'm tired of
Yeah.
seeing the front cars. Let's see some of those battles. I'm sure there's going to be some. Kind of change the camera angles around so we can see the rest of the field.
Yeah. Last weekend was an improvement. Let's just keep trending that direction.
Yep.
Let's just keep improving.
Absolutely. And with that, everybody, we are going to say good night and goodbye for today. We'll be back with you guys with another recap episode after this race and also an episode talking about our experience with COTA. I'm sure we have a lot to say. Please, you do not want to miss that episode. So with that, enjoy your weekend. Have a safe, fun weekend. Enjoy the race and all the fun college football games and NFL this weekend. So take care, everybody. We will be talking to you guys soon. Please don't forget to interact with us on all our social medias. And we can't wait to hear from you guys. So take care, guys.
All right. Bye,
See ya.
everybody.